name of God, and I make this as a general statement, in the name of God, it is not proper for any group, I don't care even if I'm a Muslim or a Shia, for me to put down another religion in a belligerent way where I'm going to now excite and ignite people's attitudes against the other side. This is not within the prescriptions of God. Sadly, I say this because I see it all over the place. And I say to myself, I said, it's interesting. What happened to academics? What happens to the Quran which says, قُلْ هَاتُوا بُرْهَانَكُمْ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ? Tell them to bring their proof if they're truthful. Let them put it on the table. Let's be scientific about it. Look how we honor the scientists of the world. We were just listening to a scientist speaking about the brain and how the brain works and the neurons work with the chips and so on. We said, wow. Well, why is that wow? Because they followed protocol. They have a protocol. Now, I don't care if that guy is an Indian, a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew. He's following protocol, and I respect protocol. So if that was an atheist talking, I'd say no problem. It's science being exposed to me, and that's protocol, and I like it. I'm being exposed to the truth, though it comes from an atheist. Right? So what of this? We find that our ideas are not protocol-based, they're more emotionally based, and then we are trying to protect our own agendas. I always feel an individual who tries to belittle the other side without merit has a weakness inherent in their side. That is why they need to belittle the other side. Otherwise, why would you do it? If there is total strength in you, if you're a truthful man, you don't have to go and create trouble among people. You just have to be truthful. It's the trouble that's going to come after you. You're not going to go for trouble. No one's going to come and hit you. I mean, you're not going to go hit people. People are going to come and hit you because you're speaking the truth. A truthful person in any society will never create trouble. Even there's a guy who's pugnacious in nature, who likes to cause fights among people, and he's a troublemaker and always looking for things to create a fight for. You find the good person will always find ways to evade that, to avoid such confrontations. It's the troublemaker who will find every way to corner you, and to kill you, and to put trouble on you, and to burden you, and burden your family, and to destroy you. But a worshipper in God, who knows the other side is definitely wrong. In fact, the other side is actually preaching venomous ideas. Even then, a believer in God does not embark on moving towards that enemy by hitting them, or by writing false ideas about the other side. It's impossible. It doesn't make sense to me. So when I go on the web and I see wonderful sites that have so much information, then they have this link, groups, Shia, beware of Shias. What is this now? I said, wow, look at this site. So much work has been done. It's so beautiful, the amount of work that has been done to educate the community about the principles of Islam. And then suddenly this little poison pill has to be sitting there. And you press on it. I say, well, if I was on that side, would I be doing such a thing? Do I have to warn you? Hasn't your mind been taught the wrong and right? And at what level should I warn you? Yeah, if that group goes around killing people, it's creating all types of clandestine movements that are very dangerous to the growth of the community. Yes, warn the people. Oh, watch out for the Christians. You know, you need to be aware of that. Watch out for the Jews. What nonsense. If you're going to bring such ideas forward, bring it at an academic level. Even then, don't make judgments and say, this is the Christian philosophy, this is the Muslim philosophy, these are our differences, you decide what you think is wrong and you decide what you think is right. I think that's more proper than for someone to write a website, for example, where you're bashing a group of people, and then it kind of lingers in the tongues of people. And the person says, so which school of thought do you follow? I'm actually, oh, excuse me, they run. Why? Oh, because you're somehow contaminated, and I can't get near you. And don't even talk to them. They're dangerous because they're constantly hiding things under there, and they're using taqiyya. You know, they're always hiding. They've always got this secretive society. Any community that tells me this, I said, you've got something that you're hiding. Why do you say that? Why don't you put it on the table? And why don't you say it the way it should be? I'm not afraid. Look, as a Muslim, many a times when I've had my debates with atheists, people say, you're going to debate atheists? You know, those guys are pretty tricky and slick. I said, fine. If they can win the argument, more power to them. Then I need to improve myself. Then what I believe in is weak. And if it cannot sustain scrutiny, then I better change. I'm a fool to think that I'm living in the truth when I'm so afraid of being interrogated at the level of my spirituality. Many of us, by the way, have fear of being questioned, because we are very comfortable with the little things that we've caught up with, and it's mixed with the cultures, and we feel very comfortable. And don't get me into this, because I'm going to become confused. Fine, you don't have to. But what if it does? What's going to happen to you? So let us be broad-minded and open. and look at the reality of what the world is all about, and to say that this kind of information, misinformation, is very, how would I say, it's very regressive in nature. And this was not the principles of the Prophet. For example, in the history of the Prophet's life, you find people used to call him magician. They called him a madman. But his character didn't change. As much as negative information was being spread against him, he was consistent. And when people saw him in the flesh, they were so impressed by his presence that they said, if you are the madman, then I want to follow this person. Because I have never seen a better person like this. Historically, during his period of time, he used to melt hearts. That was the way, the quality of all prophets were. Even when Jesus walked this, even when Moses walked this, Abraham, these people touched lives in a positive way. They didn't go around and saying, that person you should hate, and this group you should avoid, and that person is an enemy. The Prophet wasn't like that. Even when he made treaties with the Jews, who didn't like him, even then he treated them well.